Are you a telemedicine nurse practitioner and you're working either 1099 contract jobs or you're thinking about or starting your own private practice? You may be asking yourself, do I need to form an LLC? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk to you why you should absolutely 500% consider forming that LLC. My name is Lori and I'm your Telemedicine Chick, and in my videos, I provide you telewisdom to help inspire and empower you in your telemedicine career. So before we start diving deep into this LLC stuff, I just wanted to provide you a little bit of background of why I really want to talk to you today about this. Now, of course, I've been working in telemedicine for quite some time now, and I've had 1099 jobs throughout my whole telemedicine career. And as most of you know, I started my own private practice. And when I got my private practice, as a no-brainer, as most of you probably will know, is I formed an LLC. It's probably one of the first things that you need to do when you start a business. But when I started that LLC, then I wanted to see how I can structure the business and get, the best tax savings and, just have my finances all like in an order. And I found the most amazing tax accountant. Her name is Stephanie. I'm going to talk a little bit more about her later. But she really helped me understand a little bit more about how structuring my LLC a little bit better for a lot more tax benefits. And I didn't realize that I should have probably started that LLC before I even started my private practice. Because when you're a 1099 contractor, you're a contractor, right? You're not working for this company. And you can actually form an LLC and have whoever you're working for pay your LLC, and therefore you have to pay yourself a little bit. But not only do you have more of a professional kind of a view because you're working as a business, but you'll have a little bit extra protection as we're going to talk about. And then also you have some tax benefits that are going to go on depending on how you structure your LLC, which are going to go a little bit more further into it. But because of this, I'm like, you know what? Everybody needs to know this. If I had known before I even started my private practice, when I was working those 1099 jobs, I would have created an LLC way before that. So I want to make sure that you know that information so that you can have all the benefits as well. So before we definitely start off with this, one, it would be great if you go down and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss a video when I publish it. Also, it just helps to grow my community, and I really appreciate the support that you give. And number two, the most important thing to remember, I am not a lawyer. I am not an accountant. I am just giving you my experience and telling you what I know, and hopefully to help you, support you, and again, empower you in your telemedicine career. So please make sure that you reach out to your own lawyer, legal advice, accountant, and all of that fun stuff. I'm just, again, providing you with my experience and what I have benefited from when it comes to my LLC. So let's briefly, just really quickly, what is an LLC? An LLC is a limited liability company which you create within your state. That is very easy to do. I'll create another video on how to do that. But the benefits of having an LLC is, one, you have a professional image. You are now a business. You own a company. Kudos to you, right? Absolutely. And then also it's going to help provide you a little bit of an extra layer of protection. Yes, you absolutely still need to have your malpractice insurance, but if anything were to happen and someone were to come after you, they are not necessarily going to be able to come to your private assets. It'll go to the company. So it just gives you another added cushioning, we'll call it, when it comes to that aspect of your business. And the other thing is your taxes. And this is what I really want to talk a little bit more about as we get forward, because to me, this was the biggest game changer of them all. So first, before we keep going, diving in, I just want to make one note. Some states require medical providers to form what's called a PLLC instead of a regular LLC. What is a PLLC? It's a professional limited liability company. So please make sure that you check with your state rules and regulations or get legal advice on what you need to file for your state. So first, let's talk about why would you form an LLC? Well, if you are starting your own private practice, not going to go in there. You absolutely have to do it, at least in my opinion. But what I really want to talk about is if you are working 1099 contract jobs, why would you consider forming yourself an LLC? To me, three pretty good reasons. One, you're an independent contractor. You're already working for yourself. You may be working on a platform, but at the end of the day, you are working for yourself. You get your money, you still have to pay the taxes, you have to do all of your own benefits. You're your own boss, right? You create your own hours, 1099 jobs. I love them. But why not create a professional image and have yourself your own business? And you can literally have your 1099 jobs pay your business. So for me, one, having that little professional image and having your own business, and you can say you have your own business, you're your own boss. I mean, how cool is that? That is one reason I would say definitely form that LLC. A second is going to be extra protection. Now, it's going to be very important that you still maintain that malpractice insurance, but an LLC is going to give you an extra added layer of protection. If something were to happen, if someone were to go after you, they would not be able to go after your personal assets because you have a company. So they would be, possibly after your malpractice, but then after the company and not necessarily your personal assets, which provides you an extra layer of protection. And then three, and this is my favorite, is the tax benefits that you get from forming an LLC. Oh my goodness, I love it. And I'm going to go a little bit more into it because it depends. When you get your LLC, I highly recommend that you get an accountant, a really good one. I'm going to talk a little bit about mine, Stephanie. She's amazing. But really need to, when you have an LLC, there's two ways that you can actually report to the IRS of how you are going to file your taxes. Now, again, I am not a tax accountant, so I may mess up the terms a little bit, but that's okay. Hopefully you're going to get the message of what I'm trying to get through to you. But what we're going to talk about next is that tax benefit that you can get forming your own LLC. Okay, so let's talk about tax structure because I think this is the best part of this whole LLC when you are 1099 contract positions. Again, I am not an accountant. I am telling you everything from what I understand and from my experience. So please make sure that you talk to your accountant about this. But when you form an LLC, there are two different tax structures that you can do. You automatically become a sole proprietor, which in that way, yeah, you have some benefits, but you have to pay self-employment tax and blah, 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 blah. But the real game changer is that when you hit a certain salary point, which again, talk to your accountant. It's definitely not, if you're doing like one 1099 job and you're working like, 10 hours, like, a month or something like that, it might not be very beneficial. But when you get really into those maybe part-time, full-time hours and you're having really good income from all of your 1099 positions, or maybe just one of them, that is when you really want to consider an S Corp. Because what does an S Corp do? It's a game changer when it comes to your taxes. At that point, you are giving yourself a minimal salary that you pay yourself, and you have to do it through a payroll like Gusto or Quicken, all that kind of stuff. You are giving yourself a minimal salary. And then what you're doing is you're taking distributions from the company, getting paid otherwise. So you're only getting, to me, from what I can understand, is you're getting tax on that little salary that you have, right? That little salary. And then your company can also, you can do a lot of things when it comes to paying for X, paying for Y. But again, talk to your accountant to make sure that you are doing it perfectly, right? So what ends up happening is that, let's suppose you were supposed to pay, I'm just going to throw numbers out, Okay, these are just random numbers. Let's suppose you're going to be paying $4,400 in taxes. Well, now you maybe only be paying $900 in taxes. Do you see the tax benefit there? That is huge. Now, it does cost a little bit to get set up and to have, you're going to have an accountant. They're going to want to work with you a little bit more. And then also, you may have to pay for like that payroll scheduler such as Gusto or Quicken. But when you look at the amount of money that you will pay for that over the year, you are still saving a lot of money on taxes. And to help you better understand S Corps just a little bit more, down below, I'm also going to put a link to Stephanie, my accountant's website. She has an excellent article all about S Corps and if it's beneficial, what they are, and all of that fun stuff. So make sure that you go down there if you want more information about an S Corp so that you can learn a little bit more about that. Okay, so let me just sum up what I just said, because hopefully, I'm not a tax accountant. I don't know the jargon probably as well as an accountant, but I just want to make sure that you get what I'm saying. If you are working 1099 contract jobs and you have a lot of them and you're making decent salary from them, I would highly recommend considering not only forming an LLC, but then forming that LLC with a tax structure of an S Corp. Why? Because the tax savings are amazing. Okay. Yes, you will need to have an accountant. Yes, you will need to have some kind of system, Gusto, Quicken, or something because you need to pay yourself a little, a minimal salary, right? And that has to be taxed. So you're going to need that. But the amount of money that you are going to save, again, $4,400 you would have paid just being a sole proprietor. Now you're in an S Corp. Now you're paying maybe like $900 or $1,000. You have your accountant, you have the Gusto. So maybe that's another extra $1,000. So you can still see you're saving $2,500 in taxes. Of course, I'm just throwing out some numbers. I'm just trying to give you the range of kind of what the tax savings is, but it's absolutely amazing. And I highly recommend talking to an accountant that knows and understands this. I will be honest with you, my previous accountant, I said something to him and he's like, no, don't worry about it. That's nothing. That doesn't make a difference. You have to make sure that you have a really good accountant who understands the benefits in the tax structure. Again, I have my accountant. I absolutely adore her. She has definitely helped me create my business structure in a really wonderful way. And if you need one, please, I'm going to put her information down below. I am not an affiliate. I don't get any kickbacks. I just think she's amazing. And that's why I want to share her information with you. And again, don't let Tampa tax deter you because she helps people all over the United States. So again, highly recommend. Think about getting that LLC, become your own boss. You are amazing and you are doing a great job, but make it a little bit of a game changer and create that LLC. Talk to an accountant about possibly doing an S Corp and seeing if it is beneficial for you. So, as you can see, forming an LLC is not just about paperwork. It's about creating a professional image. You have your own business and you are rocking it. It's giving yourself that extra protection. And it's also putting a little bit more money in your own pocket, the money that you work very hard for and you deserve 500%. If you want to talk a little bit more, I do have one-on-one coaching that I provide and help support you in your telemedicine career. I will put the link for that down below. I love working with my fellow NPs to help empower them and help inspire them and help them succeed in your telemedicine career. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you go subscribe if you haven't done so far already. And please, if you think that you have a fellow nurse practitioner out there that's working in telemedicine, doing these 1099 jobs, and they would benefit from this video, please make sure that you share it. I love helping to inspire you and empower you in your telemedicine career. And I will see you. My next video I think I'm going to do is how to create an LLC because it is so easy. One thing, there are lots of companies out there that will charge you $100 or $200 to form your LLC. You do not need them. It is very, very easy. You can totally do it on your own. I have 500%. Hey, you're taking care of patients, you are taking care of people's lives. You can absolutely form your own LLC. It's very simple to do. So I will make a video about that, but then also you can do it.